Hi Capricorn, and welcome to your November 2021, oh my gosh, general reading. So thank you everyone for your comments, your donations. I just felt so loved, guys. Thank you. So I've only got one Lenormand for you, but I turned my head and there's another one. So you've got the Tower card. Now this is a different version of the Tower card. It's almost completely opposite. This talks about dealing with systems of stability and security. So like big businesses, like authority systems. Do you understand what I mean? Actually, it's actually quite a very sort of Capricorning card. And next to it, you've got the clock. So it's almost like a lot of your energy, and I've found this in your last two readings actually, funnily enough, there seems to be quite a lot of your energy going into, I want to use the words establishing your sense of self, rather than, I mean, there's always a combination of both, isn't there? So, you know, our hearts are open to our relationships, our core needs. But there seems to be a sense here where a lot of your energy is going into, it seems to be an energy of personal establishment of your energy, yourself. So this might be through, actually there's a good chance it is through work. And some of you might go, oh my gosh, no work. And some of you might be going, fantastic, it's really what I'm at the moment, you know, this sort of establishing my sense of self within society, essentially. That's what I was trying to get at. The clock might mean that you're dealing with the process of time. That is what Saturn represents. It's like how the seed becomes the oak tree is a process of time. Yeah, and that's why so many people give the earth signs a really, really hard time. You know, that sort of instant, I want it now, but no one wants to work with that process of developing something over time, which is really, really what, you know, that is your core energy. Yeah. So let's have a look to see what else it's got to do. We're going to pick 7 cards. I am still trying to keep it in the 15-20 minutes because it's just where I'm at, actually. There's a lot of people needing support at the moment, so I'm trying to balance out my needs to give with my needs to also, you know, live. I'm just like everyone else, by the way. So what you want is the Ace of Cups. That's more emotional. That's interesting. The gift is the 8 of Wands. I wasn't expecting that. Unless what this is talking about is more a relationship energy. The challenge is the Knight of Wands. You've got a Libra card in your relationship house. Guys, can you see the cards? Give me a minute, I'll move it. Most of you really like to see the cards being pulled. 7 of Cups in your money and work. So there's a little bit of blurred lines, a little bit of Neptune energy, and quite often Neptune energy is like, oh my gosh, shall I choose A, shall I choose B? Might be a little bit of confusion there, and the 2 of Swords in the heart of the matter. I was completely wrong, Capricorn, because it looks like maybe what's more going on for you is an emotional theme. I mean, maybe it's both. Maybe these energies of wanting. It's almost like when you're dealing with these cards, you're dealing with making something into form. Does that make sense? You know, sometimes things are, so they exist in the imaginal realm. We have a dream. But these cards are about bringing it into my everyday life, yeah? So What you're looking for is the Ace of Cups. So this looks at a much more emotional, and then you get the Emperor as the outcome. So the rule of thumb, we either end in an ace or a major. If none appear, it just means that the situation you're dealing with has not found any personal resolve yet. So what you want is the Ace of Cups. So the Ace of Cups is an emotional card. It's about love. There's just no way around it, you know. And it can be about work, because those Seven of Cups, it's almost like out of these Seven of Cups, there's at least 2 of the cups that are pure nectar, you know. They provide what you're looking for, that milk and honey, and some are bubbles. But maybe what you want to do is make the right choice. You want a new chapter. This might be money and work. For some of you, it's definitely relationships, because you've got the Libra card here. In this deck, remember, she's got a blindfold. Because Libra tends to represent harvest time. But because it's a blindfold with this deck, and it always throws me, the blindfold, but I have to read it that way. Because of the blindfold, there can be a sense of uncertainty and not being able to see what comes next. I wouldn't worry, Capricorn, because Venus is going to spend 2 months in your sign, and it's not far off. It's moving there. It's moving there in about a month, and it's going to be there December and January. 3 conjunctions with Pluto. Don't roll your eyes. But it's going to, you know, the theme, Capricorn, is going to be relationships for you over the next couple of months. This is what you're looking for. It's also living your life with an open heart, living your life in this state of joy. Every single one of us have got a heart that's absorbed so much awful stuff from life. Every single one of us. I don't know anyone who's not got a trauma. Anyone in the world, by the way. I mean, maybe if you find someone, show me them. This is about living with this open heart and a state of joy, you know, living in wonder. The gift is the Eight of Wands. The Eight of Wands talks about an awful lot of communication, and it's clarified with the Knight of Swords. So this is backwards and forwards communication. If some of you are looking for a job, the Eight of Wands would be like really focused energy on a goal. But the way to read the Eight of Wands is putting loads of energy. So you put loads of emails out, and then you wait for one of these responses to come back. Yeah. Eight of Wands tends to be quite a positive card. And it is this sort of, there's an energy that's helping you get this feeling of the Ace of Cups. I'm not sure what it's to do with. The challenge is the Knight of Wands. So the Knight of Wands is that vehicle that propels our life forward. Really fast moving knight. It is the challenge. And I think the Eight of Wands is more about focused energy on the goal. So example, if this was a job, I might put out 20 applications, but I'd have to wait for one of them to come back. Yeah, that's the Eight of Wands. It might be a lot of communication with someone, but the block is the actual. So there's communication, but there's not that much of a sense of the situation propelling itself forward. Okay. So you got the Justice card in your relationship. So it's a lovely card. It's Libra. Libra rules our relationships and the 7th house. And again, there's a blindfold on. And that 7 of Cups is sort of like a blindfold. I wonder if there's a big Neptune transit to Saturn or something. Because there is a couple of energies here about not being able to see clearly, or you get 3 cards but not being able to see what's next. Look, there's 2 blindfolds. I mean, these are beautiful. These are golden blindfolds. It's not a blindfold of the 8 of Swords. Yeah, it's like So there's a lot of peace with these cards, and the peace might be coming from having quite an established sense of yourself. It's when we lose the established sense of self and we give ourselves away to another person, or that we go into the crazies, yeah? When you're establishing your sense of self, you can handle an experience of, oh, I can't quite see what's coming next, but that's okay. Yeah? Sometimes I'm not there, sometimes I am. So that I just wonder why it's turning up, Justice card. I mean, it is a great card because it's manifestation, it's harvest time, but the blindfold is definitely there, guys. There's just no way around it yet. And it's clarified with the Hermit. I knew it. It's almost like it's there, but it's not. It is there. But there's a little bit of an issue around the speed, around the vehicle that is carrying the situation forward. And it's almost like that irony. Oh, that's a lovely reading, but the person's maybe not as available as we want them to be for many, many reasons. 7 of Cups and money and work. So some of you might have a choice to make. And I quite like the 7 of Cups. I mean, it's a nightmare situation if it's not the easiest card if you're desperate for clarity. But if you're not, you can allow the process to unfold. Yeah? So the 7 of Cups is about, is there a choice to make? And because of that 8 of Wands and the rest of the cards, it sort of seems this sort of desire to make things solid, but the 7 of Cups is not a solid card. And maybe what you're doing is looking at it and going, you know, what choice will I make? What is the right direction to go in? Because there's bubbles coming out of that cup. But some of them have got 4-leaf clover. So some of you might have some choices to make around work. I mean, unless you're in a chronic 5 of Cups or 5 of Pentacles situation, it's not a bad scenario to be in. And if you're confused about the way forward, you just stop. You stop pushing the river. All the rivers run to the sea eventually. And we can get ourselves in a real pickle when we believe we are the masters of the universe. When actually, if you lack clarity, I'm taking a step back. I'm going to keep my head above water until the clarity that I seek comes to me. Yeah? Or you get a reading or something that brings clarity to you. But it might be that clarity is not quite ready to come yet. It always does. Think of your life. Has there ever been a time when it's not came? So you do end first of all in the 4 of Swords. So rest and respite. Yeah. The 4s represent our stability and our security. Sometimes that 4 of Swords can be a card about being really tired. But I think you'd be really, really tired if you're trying to get clarity that's not ready to come yet. Because you do end with the Emperor card. So the Emperor is a great card because it's Aries. Aries is the first house. Anytime anything's stuck in your life, you always go to your Aries position in your birth chart or your Mars. And you begin to say, what can I kickstart? You know, what can I do in my own life to get energy moving? So Aries is I am and I will, and it's individual self-direction. It's about setting one's course. It's sort of like, you know, that spinal column straight, and it's I am and I will. And then the Emperor sets itself forward. It's made its decisions, it knows where it's going, and it sets forward to make its visions, its dreams, its desires for itself come true. So it's a great outcome, which means some sort of forward motion is going to come. You know, there's going to be, oh, I got it, I know what I'm doing. The only thing I don't love the Emperor, as most of you know who get readings from me, is when it shows up in your emotional energy, because the Emperor is quite a closed, guarded energy. The Emperor is fantastic for money and work. It's the father of the deck. It's that part of us that sets our own life direction, that defines our values, that defines our goals, that works to establish itself in these cards. Because relationships are, you know, I don't dislike your relationship energy. I find it quite fascinating. But there's something, and it's almost like there's energy there for this beautiful Ace of Cups. But you're going to love me, aren't you, Capricorn, when I say there's something to do with that father clock. Something to do with time. And, you know, maybe distance. Something like that. But what we want this Emperor for is about setting our own personal goals and values. Now, you know, I've got Capricorn ascendant. Nothing happens overnight. You know, it's and Father Clock talks about that energy of patience, perseverance, every single quality that gets us to that top of that mountaintop, or what Capricorn's about. And that's why people have got this ridiculous energy towards it, because they just don't want to do it. You know that thing, I can just press the button and it's mine. But that's really, really, really not what the Emperor's about. It's not what you're about. There's something about wanting to establish yourself more. And there's something maybe the same in a relationship. You get an interesting dynamic in this relationship. And it's almost there, but you're the hermit at the same time. And that's okay. That's okay if you decide it's okay. You're the one in charge, and one of the things we can be in charge of is our own perception of reality. And when we decide it's okay, then life is okay. And that's why the Two of Swords is the peace. It's got a golden blindfold on. It's not having a enforced enslavement, because its perception is, I'm fine, I'm good, I'm the Ace of Cups. Good reading, Capricorn. I think there's going to be a lot of changes next month. I think it's probably going to mostly be for you in your relationship. So Venus does rule a relationship, also rules our resources, by the way, our value systems. I already feel it. It's going to be exciting. So I'll do a lot of studying about it, and I'll try and bring in, you know, 'cause it's all going to be about what house it falls in, where it's going to show up. Okay. Anyhow, lovely guys, thank you again for all your support. Lots of love. Bye.